emergency. Got this feeling deep inside of me, deep inside of me. I just can't control my feet when I hear the beat, when I hear the beat. I just don't know, don't know. Won't you help me fight it? Won't you help me fight the beat? Just don't know, don't know. Won't you help me fight the beat? 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 soul rubber. Check it out now. The funk soul rubber. Right about now. The funk soul rubber. Check it out now. Out now. Out now. Out right about now. Out now. Out now. Out now. Right about now. Right about now. Right about Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. Good morning. Happy Friday. Oh my God, it's Friday. Thank God it is Friday. Always. So yeah, welcome in, everyone. My name is Angela Natucci. We got a great stream lined up today. We have an interview that I need to push back a little bit to 10:30. So let me do that. But hope everyone's doing well. Let me know how you're doing in chat. I hope you are doing great. I am doing great. It has been a crazy week. Oh, Stardust City Hag. Thank you for being in chat. How are you doing? Rise and shine. Salute. Thank you. Let me take care of some things on the back end here. But yeah, let's get into some news. Bashona in a box said, I'm good, but just hungry. Yeah, no, I understand. Hopefully Bashona in a box has a little coffee to sip on. You know, maybe that'll hold over Bashona in a box. You know, it's a little cafecito. That's right. I was at Cafecito yesterday. The grand opening. Not grand opening, but hold on. I need to edit this meeting invite. Give me just a second here. Yeah, 11:15. Okay. Saved. All right. Yeah, let's get into some, you know what, let's watch some Democracy Now! It's been a while. I need to hear from Democracy. I need to hear from Amy Goodman. Okay. Indigenous-led anti-terrorist. Oh, Bolivia news. Hell yeah. Let's get into some Bolivia news real quick.
Democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. Mass protests in Bolivia have marked 1 month as thousands continue to take to the streets of La Paz and other cities demanding the resignation of President Rodrigo Paz, a Trump ally who's aligned himself with Latin America's right-wing leaders. Labor and indigenous groups, other protesters, are calling on Paz's government to roll back austerity measures amid soaring costs of food, fuel, and medicine.
We want the government to solve this problem, to fix it once and for all, and to do so wholeheartedly. The babies are starving. We can't afford to buy food. We seniors no longer have the money to buy food,
my
and
God,
I have
that's
my
terrible.
granddaughters who are orphans. I'm asking for a solution.
Earlier this week, Bolivia's Congress approved the possible deployment of armed forces to suppress the mobilizations, a move that would also help President Paz declare a state of emergency in Bolivia. For more, we go to Cochabamba, Bolivia, where we're joined by Catherine Lederberg, Director of Andean Information Network. We thank you so much for being with us. Lay out the escalating
This lady is so
protests,
smart.
why people are in this.
Sorry, this lady, we watched her, I did not stream at all yesterday. We watched her the other day, and she was very well educated on Bolivian politics, so that's awesome. I'm glad Amy Goodman got her on the show.
Streets demanding President Paz's resignation.
Thanks so much for having me. I think that you summed it up nicely when you said it's about people feeding their families and a political exclusion, a racial exclusion. Remember that Bolivia is a country where for 19 years, indigenous people and social movements enjoyed equal rights and political inclusion. With the election of right-wing government Rodrigo Paz, even though he was elected as a last-ditch alternative by many of the protesting sectors, what we see is a return to the neoliberal policy, to these austerity shock measures, and the removal of fuel subsidies. And it's generated a great deal of poverty, especially for Bolivians working class and subsistence farmers.
And from what I can tell, during the last few weeks, this uprising in Bolivia is perhaps the most important people's uprising in the world right now.
Really?
Could you talk about how the movement grew so quickly, given the fact that this president's only been in office for 6 months?
Yes, of course. You know, social movements in Bolivia have always been very well organized, indigenous communities. We're talking about a country that was colonized, but that colonization was never able to break down those strong social ties,
for sure.
Cultural ties, or a union movement that eventually helped the first indigenous president come to power. It's something that's been brewing for a very long time, but there's a huge break between what Paz promised and what he's done in practice, which is select a white upper middle class cabinet with only 2 women, reject any genuine dialogue, reject interaction with the Bolivian social movements, or even have any empathy for people and what they're going through day to day as they try to feed their families. You know, it's not enough to put on a poncho for your campaign and then forget about your electorate.
And what about Paz's claims that former President Evo Morales is behind this uprising or these protests?
Well, I think they're infuriating. I think that, Evo Morales has had a long career as a social movement leader and as former president. He definitely opposes the actions of Rodrigo Paz. But the sectors in protest are not directly affiliated with Morales. You had a small group of coca growers from Morales's base in La Paz for only 5 days. But it's a convenient one. There's the right-wing political class in Bolivia that's never developed governance strategies that find it convenient to blame Morales. They want to
of course,
target
the
him.
right-wingers
They
there.
speak frequently.
Okay, sorry, I gotta do a little commentary on this because I love Bolivia. The whole arguing that Evo Morales, this rogue guy who was not elected president again, could not be president again. He's an old man. He's, he can't roam the country freely, right? He has to stay because he has outstanding warrants. Everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people are angry with him. He was democratically elected, but, ended up doing non-democratic things. And eventually that's why he had to leave office and did not get elected again. I mean, he already served his 3 terms that he shouldn't have had. But yeah, so it's very interesting that the current administration is blaming Evo Morales in a similar way that like our American presidency is blaming Joe Biden and Obama for these things. It's like, yes, Obama and Biden were there when we had super high inflation. Obama was there when we had the 2008 Great Recession. You know, he probably could have handled that a lot better, but you know, hindsight is 2020. But it's interesting how these right-wingers all around the world are taking cues from each other, right? Taking cues as to blaming the previous administration, even though they have like nothing to do with it right now. I mean, like I said, Evo Morales is a man who has outstanding warrants. He cannot travel freely throughout the country. Like he has to stay in his compound. He has to have armed guards or whatever follow him around. So like, yeah, he is not this like free, very influential, you know, like they're acting like he's a straight up activist now and is directing all these people to do these things. No, this is just the country. These are just the people of the nation being upset with the current state of the government. And it's such a big cop out. And I really, really hope this isn't going down the path because, I mean, we've seen Chile, we've seen Argentina. They're returning back to blaming these left-wing movements. They're back to taking like literally these like this like I don't even know what to call it. It's just this entire left scare that has been perpetually in a lot of Latin American countries because they were so brain broken by America to you know, get quote unquote socialism, get quote unquote communism out of their countries. And so we've seen that, you know, in order to keep control, especially in Chile and Argentina back then, they just used this whole campaign. You know, we have to send armed militia, or we have to send militaries to disperse this protest group because they're all socialist and they're all just trying, you know, they're all left-wing reactionaries that are, you know, want to take over the government, right? And it literally could just be like random people protesting for legitimate things, you know, exercising their democratic rights. And that's what's happening here in Bolivia. We have the people that are suffering because they don't have, you know, things are getting more expensive. Their oil subsidies have been removed by the government, which is crazy. They rely on that. And, you know, they're out there protesting, but instead of being taken seriously, you know, as like, oh, this is a democratic protest. Maybe I, the president of Bolivia, should listen to the people who are you know, bringing up these concerns. No, they're clearly left-wing socialist, Evo Morales supporters. In fact, Evo Morales sent himself, right? These are not normal Bolivians. These are just these Evo Morales supporters. Bro, that is so bad. That is so bad. It's denying it's making the Bolivian people seem more stupid than they are. It's like, bro, they literally voted you. You won the election. The democratic election. You won it. Why are you like going back and saying that all these people that are going against you are your opposition and they're like, you know, the worst thing ever? It's crazy. I can't believe we're doing this again. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we all of a sudden have Latin America go into, like, instead of it being like, oh, Cuba and Russia is going to take over Latin America and turn them communist, it's going to be China now that is going to turn them communist. Crazy. All right, let's continue watching Democracy Now!
His arrest, and it dovetails nicely with a very close and strong alignment with the Trump administration, because as we know, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration and consecutive right-wing U.S. administrations have targeted and scapegoated Morales.
Mm-hmm.
This is not about him, and it infuriates protesters further because it's a way to not address meaningful demands.
And very quickly, you're in Cochabamba, where Democracy Now! Was. We interviewed at the time President Evo Morales at the People's Climate Summit there.
Oh,
but
shit,
if you can address
that's cool.
The allegations that that the government is making that this is an attempted coup, and also talk about Paz's alignment with Trump, with Marco Rubio recently saying on social media, let there be...
Of course Marco Rubio is there. Of course Marco Rubio is there. Little Marco Rubio. He has to get his little thirsty self all over Latin America. Of course.
No mistake, the U.S. stands squarely in support of Bolivia's legitimate constitutional government. We will not allow criminals and drug traffickers to overthrow democratically elected leaders. The words of Marco Rubio.
I think that explosive and that toxic narrative is very helpful to the Paz administration, but it's in lieu of any meaningful attempt for dialogue. I don't think we found any ties. The U.S. has looked for decades of ties to Evo Morales for drug trafficking. Certainly these protesters have no ties to drug trafficking. It's absurd that people would suggest that the drug business in Bolivia or in anywhere in the world has the need to direct any protest. This stigmatization, this focus on Morales is toxic, and it's really aggravating the conflict. I think that the vision on the part of the Paz administration and on the United States and on the far right and the Operation Southern Shield, that very corrosive international alliance through Trump, is that this was going to somehow scare the protesters into retreating. And what it's done is it's infuriating them. This is a group of people that's protesting because they don't have anything to eat tomorrow or the year after that.
That's terrible.
And people in La Paz are complaining that they don't have anything to eat, and everyone needs to be able to have a sustainable source of life. And that is not being addressed here, as it's not being addressed in so many other places.
Well, we have only about a minute left, but I wanted to ask you about the Trump administration and the U.S. interest in Bolivia. What does the U.S. want from Bolivia?
I'll tell you right now. Sorry to be one of those annoying kids in class. Like, I can answer the question. Sorry, I'm excited. We want lithium. We want rare earth minerals. We want lithium. That's the answer.
The U.S. on very different, many levels, was very unhappy with the expulsion of the U.S. ambassador, the expulsion of the DEA in 2008, and the end of all U.S. funding in 2013. And their claim was that Bolivia would become a narco state, that things would fall apart. And what we saw is that actually things in Bolivia got better. It's the threat of a good example. And, it's very clear. And you can, when you speak to U.S. diplomats, they highlight.
Sorry, Bashan in a box said, not the effing rare earth minerals bullshit again. It's always going to be that. If it's not oil, it's freaking rare earth minerals for these freaking batteries.
That there's a strong desire for revenge on the part of the...
Look, at this person has a sign up. I'm pretty sure it says there's no oxygen in Spanish. That's crazy. Crazy.
DEA on the part of the Trump administration, which criminalizes protests in the United States and elsewhere. And there's an obsessive focus on punishing the left instead of engaging with them or governing responsibly.
There you go.
We're going to leave it there. We're going to do an interview in Spanish,
okay.
And you can check it out at democracynow.org.
Yeah.
Catherine Lederber, Director of Andean Information Network at Cochabamba, Bolivia. And a very happy birthday to Angie Karen. That does it for our show. I'm headed to Tucson, Arizona today.
No, why are you going to Arizona, Amy Goodman?
And Saturday to the Loft Cinema. We'll be doing a fundraiser for KXCI in Tucson as the screening of Steal the Story, Please, about Democracy
Heck
Now!
Yeah, good for her.
Begins in...
All right, so yeah, Amy Goodman out there promoting that. We need to watch this. We need to watch this so bad. I need to watch this. Okay, so yeah. Shout out to Bolivia. Man, I hope you guys figure it out. But yeah, it's bad. It's real bad with all of that. Hey, Stardust City Hag said, we love democracy now. We sure do. We sure do love democracy now. All right. So in preparation for our interview later today, or in about an hour, we need to do a little bit of research on Miss Gracie Torres. I contacted her yesterday, and luckily she had enough time for me today. And so it was a very impromptu interview. So I really don't know that much about her. So let's go to the Raincross Gazette. Let's go to Ward 2, because that's where Gracie Torres is running. And, interesting. Okay. So Gracie Torres announces bid for Ward 2 City Council seat. Water Board member becomes third candidate vying for Cervantes' seat. That is right. Riverside City Council Ward 2. That's where not Sabrina. What is her sister's name? Clarissa Cervantes was holding, and now she was going to the assembly. And so now this seat is completely wide open. We don't know too much about the candidates. I think we watched this gentleman and this gentleman's little thing on the Riverside Record. But yeah, let's read this article. Okay. From the Gazette staff. Western Municipal Water District Director Gracie Torres officially launched her campaign for Riverside City Council Ward 2 on Wednesday, touting her record of public service and securing endorsements from Mayor Patricia Locke Dawson and the majority of current city council, which is crazy. That's crazy. She's running for city council, and she got the mayor endorsement right off the bat. That's interesting. Torres, who has represented Ward 2 residents on the Water Board since 2018, enters a growing field that includes Budget Engagement Commissioner Armand, I don't know how to pronounce that guy's name, so sorry, and social media entrepreneur Christian Montero. Ward 2 deserves a representative who can build coalitions, take action, and fight for our neighborhoods, Torres said in a press release announcing her candidacy. I have a strong record of accomplishments, and I am ready to bring that same leadership and accountability to City Hall. Torres did not respond to a request for an interview. Ward 2 includes the University neighborhood, Hunter Park, Canyon Crest, Sycamore Canyon, and Mission Grove. At her October 1st campaign event attended by more than 100 supporters, Mayor Locke Dawson announced her endorsement of Torres. Gracie Torres has proven herself as a leader who gets things done and always puts the community first, Locke Dawson said. Gracie isn't about taking sides, she's about Riverside. Her vision, experience, and dedication make her exactly the kind of representative Ward 2 needs on the city council. You know what? I'm sorry, chat. I want to see the Riverside wards map, because I don't know. There we go. Riverside.gov. Ward map. Okay. I got a little interactive map. Heck yeah. Okay. So, find my wards. Oh, there's 7 wards? That's crazy. Council member Philip Falcone. 2 is Clarissa Cervantes. Ward 3, Chuck Conder. Ward 3 is Steve Robillard. Number 4, Chuck Conder. Ward 5, Sean Mill. Ward 6, Jim Perry. Ward 7, Steve Hemingway. What a name, Hemingway. All right, so let's see. Like y'all know, I am not a Riverside native, and I barely have started exploring Riverside. Okay. So downtown Riverside has Ward 1. Ward 2 has the university in it. Interesting. Okay. It seems to be pretty well divided. Like it's not like crazy gerrymandered or anything. Interesting. Okay. So now we know Ward 2 is like on the northern side, closer to Grand Terrace, closer to Moreno Valley. Interesting. Okay. A lifelong Riverside resident and product of local schools, Torres holds a degree in chemistry and environmental science from Cal State San Bernardino. That's pretty cool. She works as an environmental planner for Riverside County, created the BECA. Oh, man, why does it have to have my name in it? The Becca Angelita Award. Angelita Scholarship. 8 Riverside students awarded STEM scholarship through Becca Angelita program. Amazing. Okay. Okay, so she does that. Torres brings name recognition to the race, having won her water board election by 25% in her first race in 2018 and 35% in her 2022 re-election, receiving over 20,000 votes. According to Torres's campaign materials, her priorities include investing in public safety and addressing homelessness, prioritizing job creation and affordability, and enhancing city services. As a director of the Western Municipal Water District, Torres has built a reputation for accountability, fiscal responsibility, and transparency, her campaign stated. Okay, they're just straight up repeating her PR thing. Torres emphasized her track record of voting against rate increases during economic downturns and her work replacing aging infrastructure experience she argues translate directly to city governance. Torres has secured the backing of several major labor unions, along with endorsements from council member Philip Falcone, Steve Robillard, and Sean Miller, plus former mayor Rusty Bailey. What a name. Mayor Rusty Bailey. You know what? That sounds like a great name for a golden retriever. Rusty Bailey. Torres' campaign stated she has raised more than $50,000, which they claim leads all announced candidates in fundraising. The winner will replace Clarissa Cervantes, who won the seat in 2021 and is now seeking State Assembly District 58. Cervantes herself replaced longtime council member Andy Melendrez, who served 15 years before an unsuccessful mayoral bid. With 8 months until the June 2026 election, well, today we have like 2 days. The Ward 2 race is expected to intensify as candidates vie for support in one of the city's most politically engaged districts. The filing deadlines for... Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I feel incredibly lucky to have Gracie Torres say that she would be willing to come in and do an interview with me. She declined to do an interview with the Raincross Gazette, and I believe she also declined to do an interview with the Riverside Record. Whoops. Record 2. See, I tried to watch this the other day, this Raincross Gazette little debate that they had from UCR, and I could not find it anywhere. Could not find it anywhere. So I'm just going to give up on that. But okay, let's just go to the Riverside Record. See, this is my grievance with the Riverside Record. They did 10 hopefuls running for 3 Riverside City Council seats and then puts all their pictures, and then it's just like individual statements. And I'm like, brother, this is so confusing to read. This is so confusing. Like, okay, see, Ward 2, Gracie Torres declined to participate. But she had a statement. And then this guy, he had a statement too. Yeah, so it's just like I know the Riverside Record is trying to be very like nonpartisan about it, right? Like trying to just be very facts only, like I don't know. But it's not working. It's not working for me. You got to get in there and talk to these people like they're people. Here, let's watch one of her. Oh, she was on. Oh, let's watch. Well, okay. Hold on. Because I know she was endorsed by the Teamsters. Torres. Haha. Okay. Oh, this is an hour-long interview? Oh, shit. You type in Gracie Torres. Look who pops up. That's me. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can find this interview. 2 weeks ago. Wait, I could just search Gracie. No. Torres. Okay. Well, it said it was in October of last year. Oh, they had Clarissa Cervantes on. Oh, man. We have a lot of catching up to do. With Worker Power Hour, they've interviewed so many people. Okay. Oh, well. All right. We can't find it. Let's watch this. Let's watch whoever this Tony Gutierrez guy is.
Classes are, in like early in the morning or in the afternoons and the evenings. Classes are.
You're young. Is that your youngest son, or do you have another one who's been driving already beforehand?
Yeah, I have my oldest is 18 now, so she's been driving for 2 years.
Okay.
But she goes to RCC, and so when she was
shout
in
out
high
to
school,
RCC.
she could help me with drop off and pick up, and she still does enough. She's very helpful, but now her classes are, in like early in the morning or in the afternoons and the evenings, and so it's been a little bit of a juggle to try to figure out, okay, what day do I go pick them up? What day does my dad help? What time? Yeah, and so it's become him getting his license is necessary, and that's the case for most working families. Like, we get another kid driving, that's less burden on everybody, right?
I'm not there yet. My daughters, one of them is 8 and the other one is 4.
Uh-huh.
So I still got a while to go until I get to that point.
Oh, don't miss it. It goes so fast. my baby is 10. She'll be 10 in August.
Okay.
And so we're still, all of us live vicariously through her.
Okay.
And her innocence and everything. She still sees the world all happy. The rest of us are busy with life, and she still, plays with her dolls. And
oh, that's cool. You still get to remember a little bit of what it is to have a kid, to have somebody who depends on you 100%.
Yes.
Because it's like you're saying, eventually they're going to grow up and they're going to do what they want to do.
Yep.
And then you give them a car, and then all of a sudden, Mom, I guess
my
I'll
friend
be
needs
back.
this, and
Okay, sorry, we're going to skip forward.
College degrees in chemistry and environmental science, giving her a strong technical background in water quality, infrastructure, and environmental responsibility. Professionally, Gracie has built an impressive career around protecting one of our most important resources, water. And she currently serves as an elected board member with Western Municipal Water District, where she has been part of important conversations around water, affordability, infrastructure, and the future growth of our region. Now, Gracie is taking the next steps in her public service journey as she runs for Riverside City Council. Obviously, we're going to talk about that, but honestly, not just that. I want to make sure that this conversation is not just about your titles, about your degrees. I want to make sure that you know it's not just a campaign platform. Those accomplishments, they do matter a lot, but what really matters the most is that this right here is an exciting opportunity for people to get to know you. Yeah. The Gracie that not a lot of people get to know. Yeah. And this is what this platform exists, is to record our testimony. Yeah. This is called the Legacy Podcast. And the reason why the name of Legacy Podcast came up to be, I don't know if you knew this or not, But when my dad passed away 5 years ago now, I was trying to see videos of my dad, and I couldn't see any of them, you know, yet alone going back in the past to see who was my dad when he was my age right now, 38, or who was my dad when he was 25. There's none of those videos. But then if we go on YouTube, then we start to see videos from musicians. We start to see videos from actors, from actresses that had left us already a long time ago, and we can see a lot of their life because that's
it was
been recorded.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's how.
All right. This is kind of a boring interview. I'm not gonna lie. Let's find something more engaging. No shade to that guy, but like, let's see. Here, let's see her at the
Delegates
2023.
and guests, please welcome Gracie Torres, candidate for CDP secretary.
Oh, hold on. We're gonna get copyrighted for that. Nope. Oh my god. Okay, that's awesome. Come out to that song. Yep. All right, let's hear.
Good afternoon, California Democrats.
Yeah, hell yeah, California Democrats.
My name is Gracie Torres, she, her, ella, and I am humbled to stand
Damn. Oh, hold on. Let me put her on normal speed.
before you today as a candidate for the California Democratic Party secretary. I want to take a moment to extend my gratitude to the leadership, staff, volunteers, organizers, and those who made this event possible in reuniting us after such challenging times. My story
I see. This is after COVID,
and
huh?
how I arrived here is only possible in California because of the Democrats who came before me and paved the way for a formerly undocumented Latina to rise up.
No, wait, what? She was formerly undocumented? That's interesting.
My parents migrated from Durango, Mexico to California.
Oh, she's
in
from
1990.
Durango.
It was not without challenges. My mother sold tamales to be able to afford her college education and provide, while my father worked long hours tree trimming.
Tree trimming, wow.
Our family persisted even when Prop 187 threatened our way of
Prop
life.
187? Wow.
It was Democrats who fought back so my siblings and I and many other undocumented children and families could attend public schools and have access to health care. My mother eventually became a K through 12 public school teacher. Both my parents understood how vital it was that one of them become a union member. It was labor and Democrats working in tandem who ensured that teachers were paid livable wages, had good benefits, and in my case, San Bernardino City Teachers Association, who fought so that my family could have food on the table and a roof over our heads.
Damn.
As a single mother looking to provide for a better future for my two children, I enrolled into my community college and transferred to a California State University, earning my bachelor's degree in chemistry and master's degree in environmental science.
That's crazy.
It was Democrats who built the California Master Plan for higher education and have invested in higher education programs that promote equity, opportunity, and access. In 2018, as we all witnessed children being ripped from their mothers at the border, I joined the Riverside County Young Democrats.
Shout out to
Became
the
their secretary, and not a
Riverside
week
Young
later stepped
Democrats.
up to run for my local water board, becoming the first Latina elected to the board and re-elected in 2022.
That's crazy.
I was then elected to my central committee and have served as the secretary for the assembly district and then served on the CDP's anti-racist committee and platform standing committee.
Oh my god, why are they playing music over? Bro, that's so bad. They cut her off. Oh, okay. Well, that was interesting. I mean, it was a while ago, but you know, that's big. I couldn't imagine speaking at a thing like that. Okay, let's watch this one. This seems like it might be more down to earth. Oh, it's just green screen.
Stuck in our little private studio. We're interviewing the candidates for city council. We've got Gracie Torres here today from Ward 2, who we're going to talk to and give
Oh,
her a
I'm
few
trying to turn up the
questions to
volume.
answer and get to know her a little better. So Gracie, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Why don't you take a minute and just kind of introduce yourself?
Sure. So, hi, my name is Gracie Torres. I am running for Riverside City Council Ward 2. Currently serve as your representative for Western Municipal Water District, where I've been serving for the last 8 years. I have grown up in Riverside since I was 3 years old. My family moved here. I'm raising now my kids here in the city of Riverside, hoping that they raise their kids in the city of Riverside. But this is my city. I went to high school at the first place where my mom taught, and my daughter went to that high school. My son's at that high school. So I care very deeply about this city, and I'm here to serve our community. I believe that I have a proven track record in making decisions and really rooted in community involvement. When MGNA started, I think,
what's MGM?
For me, it was
the Mission Grove
venture.
Neighborhood Alliance.
Okay. But it was an amazing venture, and I ensured that the water district was plugged in, that we made sure that we attended every meeting, we got a spot on the agenda, that the residents felt informed, and I want to continue doing those types of things on City Council. I ran on transparency, bringing more jobs, and focused on infrastructure, and that's what I want to focus on while on City Council. And so I think I bring a good track record, and so I'm hoping to earn people's votes based on that.
Great. Well, we gave Gracie, like the other candidates, 2 questions beforehand to answer, and then we'll talk about another subject, kind of have a discussion about that, the third item. So the first one is city councils often face intense public pressure. Describe a situation where you had to make a decision that was right for the long term, but politically risky in the short term. What did you do, and what happened?
That's a good question. It's a really good question. When I ran for water board, I ran on affordability, essentially. Western water is historically, as you know, more expensive than Riverside water, and a lot of voters know that and note that.
Really? I did not know that.
So I
full disclosure, I do not pay for water. I have never paid for water unless I'm buying a water bottle. So I don't know anything about paying for water. So we're learning together.
I promised that we were going to look into, how to keep things affordable and ensure that voters or residents weren't feeling that burden of conservation as well as high prices. And so in the last 8 years, I've had an opportunity twice to vote on rate increases, and both times were in hard economic times. The first one was during COVID. I had residents with up to $10,000 of water debt because they weren't paying.
Wow, what?
During the pandemic.
She said up to $10,000 in debt from water during the pandemic. That's crazy.
Economic times. The first one was during COVID. I had residents with up to $10,000 of water debt because they weren't able to pay their bills during the pandemic. And I couldn't bring myself to supporting an increase at that time. It was too difficult and very politically unpopular for me to do. But residents were very clear. They were struggling. And so I voted against rate increases. In 2024, something's changed. And I think that was because I was very clear about community engagement around rate increases. Western staff took to the community. They wanted to talk to them. They asked me, Director Torres, give us a list of who we need to talk to. I think you were one amongst those people who were already critical of Western, who were critical of a rate increase or our rate structure program. I put them all on the list. People that were going to come with with tough questions, and the staff, to their credit, reached out and they had those conversations. I wasn't at most of them, but I know that they did exactly that. They really engaged the community. But even with that, we were coming up to a rate increase at a time where, again, our economy was bad. People were feeling the strain of inflation and all those things. And even though staff had done exactly what we hope they do, and they, I think, in my opinion, had a great communications program around those rate increases. I stood with
the people that called me. The big difference between the 2020 and 2024 is in 2020 I got angry calls about about rate increases, and in 2024 I can't afford for a rate increase, but I understand, and they understood because we had set out and I had asked that community engagement and information was more clear at the time, and that happened. But still in 2024, I've still voted against the rate increases, even though everything politically, even within the organization, was guiding me towards a yes. The community members were still feeling strains from the economy, and they were still feeling the strains from COVID. So I voted against.
I mean, we still are technically.
I think I've mentioned before, any vote that comes before me is really going to be community rooted. I live in a certain part of Ward 2. I don't live in all of Ward 2. So some decisions might not impact my family directly, some might, but it is incumbent upon me to listen to my bosses, and that is the voters. It is not Gracie Torres' vote.
Right.
It's not. So I feel like I said, I have a track record in that, and I'm going to continue that on council.
Great. Second question. Tell us about a time you had to address poor performance or misconduct on a team you led. What action did you take, and what was the impact on the results and morale?
Oh, man.
That
is a tough question. That's these are like job interview questions, but no, this is the kind of questions you should ask your people that you're going to be voting for. Okay.
I'm very fortunate to.
I'll be right back, chat. I'm gonna leave this playing.
I've had the opportunity to serve on different boards, not just on Westerns, but nonprofit boards, and other organizations, and then privately work with folks on different things, and without disclosing too much.
Well, let me switch that a little bit.
Thank you, because I'm like, how do I talk about personnel
I can tell
issues?
your story, but let me switch that a little bit and give you an example of the type of thing that might happen. A report comes in from staff, and this is a thing that we've questioned a lot with the city that you're going to face, is that the staff doesn't always present all the facts.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
They give you their view because they want you to vote on it one way, which I'm sure you possibly run into this with the water district. So how do you come back and basically challenge that in such a way that's productive?
Okay, that's actually a way better way because I was like, how do I talk about personnel issues without talking about personnel issues? So I hope you can cut the rest of that. But yes, when I first got elected to the water board, I came in a unique position in that I have been staff. I work for the county, so I am staff. I write these reports, and of course we're looking, and in our service capacity, we're looking for yes votes. Sometimes no, very rarely no votes, but sometimes no votes. But so I've been in that position as staff, and so I came into that position on the water board, looking at these reports with a different lens, right? One of the I think beautiful parts about our democracy is that we have an eclectic group in our electorate, right? They're not all experts. They're not all going to be water experts. They're not all going to be public work experts. It is beautiful, but there's a lot to say about someone that can come in and critically dissect these types of reports.
Yeah.
I came in hot at the time. In 2018, excuse me, I came in hot and I sat on the dais and I was like dissecting it on the dais, and not surprising now that I have more experience, that was not met very well. And so my approach has changed in having building a better relationship with staff. I think like I mentioned with the water rate increases, they learned very quickly my priority is that you talk to the community, right? They might not like what you have to say, but you need to talk to the community. You need to talk to the people impacted.
And do it before you make the decision.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Instead of coming to them afterwards and going, well, we've already decided, now we're just going to sell you on it.
Right. And that doesn't sit right with me. But those are conversations you don't have on the dais because, again, the decision's already here, right? You have this 6 months before. You have this when you see whether that's a project that's in front of you, whether that's policy and ordinance coming in front of you. Those things need to be vetted. Absolutely by staff, absolutely by a governance committee, and absolutely by the city council, but also by our community, by and I live this, like I said, I live this every day, even as an employee myself. When we have policies, the employees don't like to see them. Hey, you guys, guess what? We have a new tardy policy at work. We don't like that, right?
No, of
we
course
want
not.
to be included in those conversations, and so again, it has been and it will be my approach to these types of reports. And I hope that with that, it's going to bring a city council that it works more collaborative. We won't agree 100%, but if we can have conversations well in advance with those who elected us, those who are implementing the policy or development, whatever the case is, and those who ultimately decide, then I think we'll have a little bit more congruence within the city. That's my goal.
Say the last thing we'll talk about is Measure Z. The sales tax increase.
Oh yeah,
and
the tax increases. We need to do a little more research into that. Hold on, we're gonna, because this is a Measure Z. Riverside, California. Let's see if there's any articles on it. Nope.
We'll head to the polls to vote on a measure that could increase funding for first responders with a bump in the sales tax. NBC4's Christian Casarez live right now in Riverside with the increase that's causing some big concerns
Los
there.
Angeles.
Christian.
Colleen, that's right. We're talking about Measure Z that would increase the city sales tax by 0.25% continuously. Now, this is in connection to the 2016 1% sales tax increase that voters previously approved that would go into the general fund for things like fire and police services. Well, today we got the chance to speak to several families who say with everything already going up in cost, many say they don't think they can afford this. With 3 weeks away from California's primary elections, many voters are narrowing down their choices.
High five, yes.
For those with the city of Riverside,
lady. I forgot what her name was. Jessica something. She's running.
Measure Z will be a hot item. A yes vote would raise the sales tax from 1% to 1.25% continuously and end its 2036 expiration that voters approved in 2016. A no vote would leave the existing 1% tax in place for the remaining 10 years.
And I only wish that more people would read the ballot information or talk to other people.
April Glatzel has called Riverside home for 45 years and says she wants the best for her community, which is why Measure Z, she says, is so important.
There are a lot of people struggling right now, and I feel that it is something that we should reel in for the time being until things get better.
The increase would bump the estimated $80 million per year revenue, according to the city, by about $20 million, which would go to the city's general fund for police, fire, and other services.
For Riverside residents and visitors, renewing Measure Z means stronger and faster emergency response system.
Fire Captain Michael DeToy is the president of the Riverside City Firefighters Association and says the additional funding would add new firefighters, fire engines, and different emergency response vehicles, and even future fire stations. The Riverside Police Officers Association tells us Measure Z currently funds over 60 officers. As families are already feeling the pinch with the higher prices on everyday goods, some say a bump in the city's 7.75 sales tax is not ideal.
Is not a good idea is because the revenue would go directly to a general fund instead of a specific fund.
Well, right now the city tells us they have 220 firefighters, but again, they say this is all about public safety. Now, tonight there will be a community meeting here at the Eden Lutheran Church in Riverside happening at 6:30, where voters will be informed on this measure. We're live in Riverside. Christian Casarez, NBC4 News.
Christian, thank you. New census data confirms folks are ditching L.A. County. 54,000.
Crazy. Okay. So, yeah, Measure Z sounds weird. I just don't understand why they can't, like make a specific tax for the specific things that need funding. Instead, they're just like, it's time, we need more money, throw out the Measure Z tax. It's really weird. I don't know how to feel about it. All right. Oh, let's watch this. Let's watch this with Okay, so this is this is Aquanetta Warren's podcast. Well, we shouldn't watch this. I need to do more research on Gracie Torres, but we could save this for later. Give me a second here.
In the city of Riverside.
Buy a home.
Buy a home in the city of Riverside. Platform point has always been job creation. The Inland Empire is a
Okay, sorry. Yeah, there's a city of Riverside. That's crazy. There's so much going on. Yeah, I don't even know this Christian Montero guy. All right, let's just read this article that I desperately want to watch the video on, but I do not know where to find the video. Raincross Gazette, if you are watching, please DM me this video so I can react to it live on stream. Oh my God. Okay. Let me go use the restroom first real quick. So let's just let this finish playing out.
How much community engagement was there?
Even though it's so quiet. I'm so
before they
sorry.
decided to vote to increase the tax, and now they're spending $195,000 to go out and inform everyone about this measure. So
Okay, be right back,
just
chat.
like to get your opinion on the Measure Z period. It's a general tax as opposed to a specific tax, so they can claim it's going to be used to, help monkeys do whatever, but it doesn't matter because it's a general fund tax. So they can really use it for the way they want. We don't know what situations are going to come up in the future. We don't know what emergencies might come up. We don't know where budgets might be, who knows, right?
Sure.
So anyway, we thought we'd get your opinion on that Measure Z.
Well, I'm in a ward that has high fire risk. So something like Measure Z is incredibly appealing. We're potentially going to get more money to mitigate the fire risk. As I'm knocking on doors and talking to folks, those that bump along those university hills, they're scared. That's the first thing they tell me. Hey, do you see that hill? I'm going to lose everything one day. That's a legitimate concern. What's also a concern is, you're right, in the past, Measure Z hasn't been used for what voters thought it would be used for, or at least that's the critique, right? And so I can't speak to how we got to this point. I wasn't there. What I can speak to is again a track record where I'm going to ensure that, and I've done it before. I've done it at Western. We have a budget. We're asking for increases, but where can we shift things? Where can programs be pushed to the side and or things be prioritized differently so that we don't put a burden constantly on our taxpayers, in my case ratepayers, to flip that bill, right? So me and Measure Z will be or not be elected on June 2nd. But if we are so fortunate to be elected, my goal will, and it's not just voters that have this concern. Our public safety officers do too. They say, hey, we need this money. We're working, we're going to educate the community or work with the community to, to pass this Measure Z. We want to make sure too that this money is coming to the things that we're also being promised, right? And so, in an effort to make sure that we're congruent with them, that's going to be moving forward proactively, making sure that these funds, although they're not in a specific, it's not a specific sales tax, that they are directed where we are telling voters they're directed. On top of that,
we want to make sure that our community is engaged in the budget process. Sorry, this is a little bit of a tangent, but that they're engaged in the budget process early. I've been critical of government in general about this, whether it's countywide, citywide, or even in my water district. Our community members need to know what we're spending our money on, not 3 months before. Not, they need to know early. We need to have workshops. They need to understand, and they should be giving input. One thing that I know the county does very well is they host district-specific budget workshops. They have a survey. They have every way that they can to get community engagement in deciding what are we spending our tax dollars on, and not just Measure Z, but in general, the city's budget should be informed by our community, and at least prioritized in that aspect.
Well, if they'd have done this as a special tax, then they could have done it.
We wouldn't be in this place.
We wouldn't be in this place.
Right.
So that's unfortunate. If it gets voted down, they still have the opportunity to do that in November.
Well, and we'll see if that ends up being the case. But ultimately, like I said, I come from a ward that does need these funds, and does need, or at least needs this attention when it comes to emergency management, specifically wildfire mitigation. But ultimately, regardless of what happens on June 2nd, my priority and my like I said, I've shown that I'm going to focus on how do we make our budget better so that our firefighters, our police officers are best taken care of.
Right.
Yeah.
When you mentioned having the public involved in the budget, the city did budget tours where people could come in. I went to one of those, and they give you a sheet and say, for this department, we want to know what things you have priorities on. And I said, well, I need to know how much you've already earmarked to spend here.
Sure.
Oh, well, I can't tell you that. I don't know what that is. Well, it says here you're going to do 11 homeless homes or something. How much are those going to cost? Well, I don't know. Well, then how am I supposed to prioritize? It was kind of an insult to me, saying that you want me to prioritize what things I think are important, but you're not telling me how much money you're already earmarking to spend on it, right? So if you told me you're going to spend $10,000 on the police department and that was all, then I might have a comment on that. But if you tell me you're going to spend $1 million on, or $10 million or $20 million on some other stupid thing that I don't agree with, then I'm going to tell you I don't want that. So I think some of those things, they try to do them in the best context, but they're kind of framing them to get the results they want.
Right.
Well, we went out to the public and they all wanted parks and they all wanted this and they all wanted that. Well, yeah, but you didn't tell them how much money you were spending on that.
Right. And that's valid. As I said, when I first ran in 2018, we talked about transparency. I feel like we've done a great job. I mean, you've interacted with Western significantly, and we, I feel that we've created a culture where we talk to our community as often as possible, present our numbers. You're not the only one, but often I have these one-on-one meetings. I get an email, hey, I have concerns about this, and we sit down one-on-one so people learn. And that needs to not just happen one-on-one, it needs to happen in group settings. I have a commitment to continue doing that as a city council person. There's no reason why I would change. And
I use the example a lot of times of the water district and the county supervisors, that when you go in there and you speak in public comment, if they have a question for you, they ask you a question. Right. Well, I have a question and you just claim this or claim that, and there's a dialogue that interacts, and you get a discussion going back and forth a little bit to try to verify what you're trying to convey to them so they understand it, and that where our city council meetings are just public comment. We're not going to engage anyone. We can't comment on anything. We can't say anything or respond to you. So it's like us and them, in this constant process.
So there's a big wall in front.
There's like a big wall, and you can throw your dialogue over the wall and hope somebody catches it on the other side. And, people have come up to the podium and go, well, I know you're all going to be on your cell phones while I'm talking for 3 minutes, which is true. A lot of times they are, and not paying attention. And then all they get is a thank you when they're done, and that's the end of it. So
the only thing I can speak to is the Brown Act does stop us from engaging, but that shouldn't stop us from taking the concern seriously and finding ways to inform. Like you said,
Right.
if you can't, if the Brown Act says, hey, Gracie, you can't talk back and forth with the constituent at public comment, there's nothing that stops me from walking off the dais, and I've done it. I've walked off the dais, went and got a phone number and said, hey, I will call you tomorrow to find out more about this. Nothing stops that, again, and I have a track record of doing that. So I'm going to continue to be the same person that I've been, and now in my opinion, in 8 years of governance, now not only do I know and will continue to work the way I do it with residents. And now I understand how to do so with staff and as well as who will be my potential colleagues. And so that's, like I said, for me, it's just an expansion of what I've already done. Nothing's going to change with Gracie Torres.
Okay, folks, there you have it. Gracie Torres running for Ward 2, and the biggest thing you need to do is make sure you get out and vote in June. Thanks.
Sorry, what an awkward way to. He just was like, "Okay, folks, you know what you need to do." Let's see if he has any other videos. Oh man, they interviewed everyone. Oh man, okay, hold on. Yeah, damn. Let's quickly find out about. Oh, Kristen is a girl. Whoops, I'm sorry.
When those project times shifted, we could have communicated that a lot sooner so that our stakeholders understood what was going to.
Okay. The audio on this so bad. I'm sorry. I'm calling it out. Mission Grove Neighborhood Alliance. You got 52 subscribers. Let me help you out. I got 80 subscribers. A word of advice: jack the audio up on your videos. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh man, they have AI videos too? Cringe. Okay. All right. Well, so we got about like 15 more minutes to wait for our interview with Gracie, so let's just keep doing some more research. Don't understand. I mean, we'll have to ask her about Measure Z and what she thinks about it, but it's just like so crazy to me that, you know, like imagine if we had that across the entire United States, that every election we have to vote. Oh man, do we want to increase the sales tax? Do we know what the tax is going to go to? Well, it might go for fire and police, but it just goes into the general fund and we can use it for whatever. I feel like a lot of people would not be okay with that. So it's interesting. I you know, like I said, I don't live in Riverside. I'm getting more familiar with Riverside than I ever have been in my life. So we're learning, but yeah, that's Measure Z is very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and read this Rain Cross Gazette article then about this debate that I keep complaining about not being able to watch. Okay. April 29th. The alumni and visitor center at the University of California, Riverside was packed on Thursday, April 23rd, as more than 100 residents gathered for one of the city's first ward-specific candidate forums. Hosted by Riverside's Rain Cross Gazette, the forum allowed community members, most of whom appeared to be from Ward 2, to hear directly from the candidates running to represent them on the city council. The forum lasted roughly an hour and a half, running from 6:30 to 8 p.m., and was divided into two segments. The first portion featured an open discussion, a 40-minute block in which candidates spoke at length on key issues. The second portion, a rapid-fire round, gave each candidate about a minute to address specific topics relevant to Ward 2. A wide range of issues were discussed throughout the evening, including homelessness, housing, economic development, and Measure Z. Each candidate offered thoughtful responses, giving attendees a clearer sense of their priorities, while also making their decision process more difficult. Currently, 4 candidates are vying for the Ward 2 position. Each bring a distinct background and a set of experiences. I don't forget how to say that guy's name. Araya graduated University of California, Riverside, currently serves as the Associate Director of Development at Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Orange County and the Inland Empire, a nonprofit focused on mentorship for youth. Kristen Montero, one of the younger candidates, is a Riverside native who graduated from Citrus High School and earned her MBA from the University of Redlands. Since, she has built a career around scaling small businesses, particularly in marketing and software. Gracie Torres, a chemist, professor, and mother who also serves on the Western Municipal Water District Board, a role she frequently referenced during the forum. That's it? That's all they had to say about her? Damn. Mike Val, the oldest of four candidates, works as a consultant at Suncliff Inc., a personal care product manufacturing company located in Tacoma, Washington. Unlike traditional forums that group all candidates together, this ward-specific format was designed to bring the conversation closer to the community directly affected. The goal of this forum is to promote different kinds of conversation. Raincross Gazette Forum coordinator Sarah Murphy said, "We want to foster a sense of blah, blah, blah." Sorry, I'm not going to read that. Many residents came for a similar reason, hoping to use this opportunity to better understand the candidates who are running to represent them in the future. For me, it was simple, one resident said. I don't know much about the candidates in Ward 2, so I wanted to come learn more about them. Right now, I narrowed it down to 2, which is exactly my goal in coming here tonight. Beyond simplifying information for voters, the forum also allowed residents to observe real-time reactions from the community. One notable moment occurred during the second half of the forum when the discussion turned to a $20 million grant proposal that would have converted the Quality Inn on University Avenue to permanent supporting housing. Candidate Gracie Torres remarked that she didn't see residents speak out on the issue, prompting an immediate and vocal response from the audience, with many asserting that they had. Moments like this allowed attendees to gauge not only the candidate's position, but also the reactions of the community. Despite this standout exchange, the forum overall was run smoothly by longtime Enterprise columnist Dan Bernstein, whose moderation balanced a firm yet warm tone. What a weird thing to say. Many residents expressed that they felt that they left the event feeling even more informed, a sentiment echoed by the candidates. This was one of the best. Okay, they didn't even talk about anything in the forum. Jesus Christ. Sorry, Raincross Gazette. Brother, what are you doing? Sorry, that's just me raging. At poor journalism. Well, I shouldn't say poor journalism. It's it wasn't even written by anyone. It said it was written by the Gazette staff. So it's not, it's just from the newspaper. So whatever. Let's see. Okay. We saw this guy, and I could not get through Mr. Mike Val because he spit on the camera. I'm sorry. He spit on the camera. Let me see how this guy
My name is Aram Ira.
Aram Ira. Okay. Aram Ira. Yeah, like I said, Aram and Kristen kind of seem the same. What is this? Oh my God. Okay, finally.
Well, good morning. My name is Jonathan Summers. I'm the president of Tyler Park Business Council, and welcome to Ward 2 Candidate Forum.
Okay, so.
This beautiful facility, Mr. Gordon Carlos, I would love to start off by having Mr. Morris say a couple of words.
Well, welcome to the Borns Technology Center. I'm the chairman and CEO of Borns Incorporated.
Okay.
My parents, Marlon and Rosemary Borns, started our company.
Oh no. Wait, when someone says my parents and then proceeds to name both of them and then says they started my company. Okay, but that's just business. Let's continue on. I want to hear the candidates talk.
Nonprofit director over at Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Inland Empire.
Okay, so I think this is like a Riverside Chamber. I'm imagining it's the Chamber of Commerce, but we'll see. Oh, there's a name in here, Dan Flores. Is he not running anymore? Interesting.
Resident of Ward 2 for a little over 12 years now. I moved to Riverside to go to school at UCR, did my bachelor's and my master's degree there. And unlike a lot of my graduating cohort, I decided to stay in Riverside because it offered me the opportunity and the affordability that I didn't have growing up back home. I've been super involved in the city across multiple different roles in neighborhood advocacy, in state and federal representation for the city, bringing nonprofit dollars into our communities, doing everything from getting borough crossings over on Watkins to protect our donkeys to fighting for our fiscal health on the Budget Engagement Commission. I'm fighting to make Riverside an affordable place to live for the people that currently live here and for the people that want to make this place home. for our small businesses, for our working families. I'm specifically fighting for cheaper utility bills for small businesses and working families, for affordable housing and rent relief, and for an investment in childcare because it's the second highest cost behind rent. It's an honor to be here and I'm excited for the forum. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Flores, 90 seconds.
All right, we're going to skip over him because
Hello, my name is Dan Flores.
I don't think he's in this anymore.
My name is Kristen Montero. I'm running for Riverside City Council Ward 2 because I am a lifelong resident and we have our innovation district as part of a leading engine here in Riverside. I am not only a business owner, but I grew up here right at Taft Elementary, going to Amelia Earhart.
Oh,
High
damn.
School.
She went to Taft Elementary. Sorry, I just remember Taft Elementary because they would come to the museum I used to work at. And they always paid on time.
I know what it's like to live in Riverside. At the same time, I've also served in nonprofits on the board of directors and also for the Filipino Chamber of Commerce. I'm here today to make sure that council members do not see business folks and residents as taxpayers, but as partners in the city. At the same time, we do have a loss in revenue that we're looking at that's coming up, the Measure Z103 revenue that comes in to address public safety that also needs to be addressed. So I'm here to make sure that as we continue to move forward and grow in Riverside, that there's accountability, that we have projects in place to ensure ROI, not just for our residents, but for our business owners as well. So I'm here today to ask for your support and to also thank you again for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Ms. Torres.
Good morning. I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Bournes, for hosting this wonderful event. I have my introduction ready, but then I started geeking out on everything that Mr. Bournes was talking about. As a scientist, it just is exciting to be here. So thank you. I want to, my name is Gracie Torres and I'm running for Riverside City Council Ward 2. My family moved here in 1990. We've been here ever
Wow,
since.
1990.
In fact, my mom's first job was at Poly High School. 15 years later, I graduated from Poly High School. And 20 years later from that, my daughter graduated from Poly High School, where my son now attends. My dad started his small business in Riverside. And so my story is not just a Riverside story, it's a small business success story.
Mm-hmm.
I've been proud to serve you for the last 8 years as your representative on the board of directors for Western Municipal Water District in Division 2. I've represented this ward. I've served in this ward. My kids are going to school in this ward. And that is why I'm now running. I want to make sure that we have good job creators. And that starts with businesses, like where we are here today. We have to address public safety and listen to them when they ask us for help. And lastly, we need to enhance our city services. When someone dials 311, when a developer calls City Hall, we need those issues addressed expeditiously. And so I am now running and I'm hoping that I can earn your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ball.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Mike Ball and I am running for Ward 2 also. Yes. I've lived in Riverside for 35 years. Been living in my house, same house for over 30.
I'm sorry, I can't take him serious.
I've worked many hundreds and thousands of hours in nonprofits, youth sports activities, all kinds of things in the city of Riverside to help make it a better place. One of the things we need to do is help get the city more business friendly. They've talked about the need for the new fire stations and they want to throw a bunch of new taxes on. If we could make the regulations a little lighter and help businesses become more profitable and maybe some more businesses starting up, it generate enough tax revenue where we wouldn't have to place it on the voters. But that never comes to anybody. We also need to check the, sorry, the guy just distracted me.
Oh my God. Oh, okay.
We'll go beyond that. I've had my business is 38 years old. I have worked it out of Riverside for 35 years. Anyway, I would like to help be a part of Riverside, make Riverside a better place, and I thank you very much.
Huh. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Ball. At this time, the candidates will answer questions composed by the chamber. Each candidate will have the opportunity to answer the same question within 90 seconds to complete their statement. Once again, you will be given a yellow signal when you have 30 seconds remaining. And of course, when your time is up, the big red light comes up. So the first question is, the city council is considering options for expanding revenue streams to provide key services needed to support our growing city. What is your position on the proposed tax revenue measure options? And we'll begin with Mr. Flores.
Well, if we're talking about Measure
we're gonna
C,
skip over him.
I actually do support.
We're looking at bringing a 0.25% tax on the ballot. That's getting brought up on March 6th at the city council meeting. One thing to know is that 103 of that revenue coming in from that 1% tax goes to public safety. So imagine the impact that it hits to all of us, not just businesses, but to the residents in the neighborhoods, because we no longer have that funding and safety. Some of that funding goes to removing encampments in the University Avenue Village areas, and that's where we have a lot of homelessness issues. I know a lot of you are aware of the $21 million project.
Okay. Sorry, chat. We got Gracie in here now. Let me work on getting that set up. Hey, Gracie, welcome in. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Oh, she's still muted. Okay, let me get my thing here.
Yeah, I am trying to do it on my laptop, so it's a more clear picture, but give me a second. Sorry, I am just so busy.
No, I understand. Okay, I can see you, I can hear you. Can you see and hear me?
Yes, how's the lighting?
Oh, I know. Thank you for asking. You seem to like actually care about that. No one cares about the lighting. But yeah, lighting is good. You sound great. Everything's good.
Switching right now.
Sweet. There we go. All right. Welcome in, Gracie. Gracie Torres is running for Riverside City Council Ward 2. The election is June 2nd, which is like 3 days.
4 days.
4 days away. That's crazy. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to come on the stream here and chat with me. And we have a couple people in the audience watching. I really didn't have time to prepare questions, so I hope you were cool with just a kind of casual conversation. You seem like a great person. I tried to reach out to some of your opponents to also get them on for an interview, and I'm still waiting to hear back from them. But yeah, so thank you for being here. Let's start out with tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you are from Riverside, but what's your favorite thing about Riverside? What,
Sure. Well, my name is Gracie Torres, as you mentioned. I currently serve on the board of directors for Western Municipal Water District, have been there for the last 8 years. I am from Riverside. My family moved here in 1990. I was 3 years old from Durango, Mexico, and we've been here ever since. Actually, all my siblings have left Riverside except me.
Oh, wow.
And quite frankly, when when you're young and you're like, oh, I want to explore the world, and I didn't get a chance to do that. I had my daughter very, very young, my oldest. She's 18. You'll see her zombie out at some point. But she, so I stayed in Riverside. I went to school at RCC, got my associates in math and science. Then I transferred to Cal State San Bernardino, and the reality is that's where my tuition went further.
Yeah.
I was able to, not my tuition, excuse me, my grants and scholarships went further. I was able to pay tuition. I was able to pay for a roof for my kids' over my kids' heads, and take care of them without having to work full time.
Yeah.
So I became a water chemist. I fell in love with water chemistry. Originally, I was in pre-med at Cal State San Bernardino and got hired at a little water lab. One thing that I knew as a Latina, if I got a job off campus, my likelihood of graduating was going to diminish. With everything. Yeah, with everything going on in my life, I had 2 kids. I was already a single mom, and if I got a job off campus, the likelihood would be I really like this job. I'll wait another semester, I wouldn't graduate. And so I didn't want that to happen. So I got a job on campus at a little water lab. We sampled in Lake Elsinore and Canyon Lake,
No
the
way.
water.
Wow.
And let me tell you something about perspective. We'd go at 5 in the morning. We'd get to the lake at 5 in the morning. So the sun was rising over these beautiful homes, beautiful lake. So part of me is like, I must have been bamboozled or something because I fell in love and literally went straight to my advisor, switched to environmental chemistry, focused on water. And so I've been doing that ever since. Got an internship at Riverside County Flood Control. I do stormwater management and compliance. Started off literally sampling water out throughout Riverside County, and now I do like compliance work. And well, I mean, we could probably talk about that forever. But
Yeah.
anyway, so come 2018, I was volunteering for all kinds of stuff. I was, translating at ICE hearings. I was just trying to get more involved politically.
Damn,
Before that, I
back
was
in
just
2018, back before
yeah.
everyone, I mean, no, not before everyone knew about ICE, but yeah, it's crazy. You were doing translating for those meetings.
I was
Wow.
translating. I was just trying to do whatever I could. I wasn't really politically involved or inclined at all. I was just a huge nerd. And I met a friend of mine. I'm gonna have to if this gets cut, but yeah, her name's Maha, and one of my best friends now. She was currently working. She is still working for Assemblymember Luis Gomez Reyes, and she's like, "What do you do for a living?" And I'm like, "I'm a water chemist," and she's like, "There's a water board seat open. You should run for office." This was on a Sunday. By Friday, which was the deadline to file, I had filed all my paperwork and started this race. And between my husband and my kids, we ran kind of by ourselves. We didn't really know anything at all about campaigns, about, again, politics, nothing. And we were successful. We won that race by about a 25% margin. And so I've been there ever since. Very, very, very fortunate. And I've learned a lot. I was uniquely qualified for that role. I'm not some, while I'm on the dais there, I don't have to be explained a lot of water quality issues or water conservation or even infrastructure issues, because I deal with infrastructure on the day-to-day basis in my daytime job. And so, but the governance part is what was an uphill battle, understanding that I can't do anything by myself. As much as I want to, right? As much as, there were a few things that I promised and delivered, right? One of the things that we hear often when people are running for office are, we want more transparency. And if they're not telling me what they're doing, they've got to be lying to me.
Yeah.
And came to find out that that wasn't really the case. No one was lying. They just didn't understand how to communicate to the public. So we created a very comprehensive communications plan, one that now is award-winning at Western Municipal. And I one of the things I'm proud about, oh my God, if you don't stop me, I will
go for it.
Keep talking. So one of the things I'm most proud about is live streaming. We wanted to live stream it. The meetings are at 9:30 a.m. I work full time. I have 3 kids. If I had an issue with my water bill, I will never, ever show up to complain about it. Not because I don't care, but because I can't.
Yeah.
And so I tried to move the meetings to the evening, didn't have the support there. So I said, okay, let's live stream. We're the first water district in Southern California to live stream their board meetings.
Crazy.
And we still do. So the cool part about that is that when COVID happened, we were also the only water district in Southern California ready to go. We didn't have to, there was so many meetings that were delayed. The Brown Act had to be suspended. There was all these things happening, and Western was functioning as usual because we had already had these transparent policies in place when it happened.
That's awesome.
So anyways, back to Riverside. So I've been there for 8 years, and there's an open seat in Ward 2. The current council person is running for assembly now. And so the mayor reached out to me and she said, hey, I really like what you've done. The mayor and a few council members have reached out and said, hey, we really like what you've done. You're good at keeping partisan politics off of the dais, which I am. And most of the reason is that when it comes to water, at least at the water board, what I learned is everyone wants the same thing. They want their water bills to not go over. It did not matter who I was talking to. If it didn't matter your race, gender, orientation, party, they all want the same things, right?
Yeah.
And so I had learned that, but again, it took 8 years. It took 2 terms for me to realize, like, if I talk to one group of people, I'm ignoring another group of people. And so so she reached out and I said, you know what, I'm currently in the process of buying a home in that district. And it actually ended up being affordable housing, even though I had
Nice.
done everything right. I was told was right, right? Went to school, got a master's degree, had, a good career all in all. I work in government.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford to buy in the city that I love, that I didn't want to leave, and so I live now in affordable housing, but I'm proud because it is the first home I've ever owned. And so
Yeah.
so I said, you know what, that it was just, at least in my eyes, just very good timing. I had 8 years of experience. I was already moving into that district. And when I say move, I literally lived a block away. I've lived in Riverside my whole life in Ward 1, Ward 2, Ward 3,
Yeah.
where, young people are nomads. So wherever there was housing, I lived there. And so my kids could have, grass to play on and things like that. That's all that mattered
Yeah.
to me. And so, yeah, so we moved. I started this race about a year and a half ago. Um, and quite frankly, I think what I love the most about this city is it is a big city,
Yeah.
a big metropolitan city, but it has a small town feel, right?
Yeah.
Anything that happens, we all feel it. We're all impacted. And just like I learned on the water board, we all want the same things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't want to pay taxes so that when there's a pothole in the road, I hit it, my tire goes flat, and now not only did I pay the taxes for it to get fixed, I'm paying for this tire to get fixed,
Yeah.
right? We all want the same things, right? We want to see the homeless being taken care of and off the streets, right?
Yeah.
We all want to see our infrastructure be taken care of. We want good jobs here so that whatever it is, 60% of the residents aren't going to Orange County and LA to work, right? We
Yeah.
all want those things. And so those are the things that I'm focused on. They were the things that I was focused on as a water board member. And it's funny because people were like, why don't you just stick to water? And
Yeah, I know.
the what's really funny is that at the water, well, one, Riverside has its own water utility, so I will be sticking to water in that sense. But one of the things that being on the water board, they don't have a lot of authority that city councils have.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would be frustrated. Could be like, we should be in these communications, or we should be in these decisions, and we weren't. We just didn't have the jurisdiction. And so a lot of it was like, well, hopefully the city takes care of this.
Yeah.
And so I'm just really expanding on my experience as a water expert and now experienced governance person, but I'm really excited. The conversations that we've had at the doors have been really eye-opening, mostly because the city feels that we're losing this Riverside small town feel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Where if I have an issue or there's an issue in my neighborhood, everyone seems to know about it. But we're tending to lose that. And so I'm happy to bring at least a voice that is going to work for everyone. And really in the sense that I've learned we all do want the same things. We might have different approaches to it, and that's where these conversations come in, but we do want the same things. So sorry, long answer to who I am.
No, that's perfect. I appreciate it. So many things that I could have asked you there, but I was like, let me just let her talk. She's amazing. So yeah, thank you. But let's I've been super confused about Measure Z, right? I mean, I'm not a resident of Riverside. I live in Rancho Cucamonga, which is a little bit north of Riverside, but still I love the Mission Inn. I grew up going to the Festival of the Lights there, I have a lot of friends that live in Riverside, and I mean it's just a fun place to hang out, like instead of me going to hang out in LA, I now have found out like Riverside, Redlands area, those are really fun places to hang out. So, but yeah, about this Measure Z, like it confuses me because I'm picturing it like as imagine if we had a Measure Z like across the board for entire nation, right? Like the federal government. I feel like people would be so mad that we just have this random tax that just increases randomly whenever, and I can't understand why the city doesn't like make, like, clearly there's a need for funding in fire and police safety, whatever. Why not just make a tax specific to that as opposed to this like catch-all tax that ends up going into the general fund anyways? And then, I mean, I'm not saying there's no transparency, but it just kind of feels like, it's money to do with whatever we want. So what are your thoughts on Measure Z?
You know, that's actually very valid, right?
Yeah.
Like I said before, that this is something that I dealt with at the water district, and to be very like transparent, while I was on the water board, I voted against rate increases twice, and not because I don't understand. I like, as a government employee, when property taxes go up, I know that there's potential for me to get a raise, right? So if property taxes don't go up, then there is no potential for me to get a raise. So not only that, obviously infrastructure and all the things that the county has to pay for. I work for the county, to be clear, but with the city, this is with Measure Z specifically. The reason I can't tell you the reason why it's not a special tax. I'm not on the dais, and I didn't vote to put it on the ballot. But in my opinion, that's exactly where it belongs. It belongs on the ballot for us to choose. People are hearing that it's not a special tax. People are hearing that it goes into the general fund. But in Ward 2, the reason why it's so tough for me to reject a tax like this is that in Ward 2, I'm not sure if you knew, in the state of California, it was a mandate to create fire maps.
Oh,
right?
I see. Okay. Interesting. Makes
So
sense.
every city had to sit there and draw maps and say this area is a high fire zone, right? And before that, if you had heard the news, insurance companies were flying drones over your house and seeing like, hey, if your house is about to catch on fire, we want nothing to do with you, right? So to kind of fix that, the state said, let's just create fire maps. What they really did was created a target on residents' backs. And so I'm knocking on doors and residents are saying, my insurance went up 4 times. I can't afford that.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and that's like, you can't see, but I get chills thinking about how these state mandates are never thought through at the local level. We lose so much local control because if I'm sitting on the council and they say, hey, we're going to draw fire maps, my thought is like, we live by a huge hill that looks dry. You are going to put targets on my neighbors' backs.
Yeah.
But no one talked to us. No one talks to, they go to Sacramento, make this legislation, don't talk to the cities that are having to implement these things.
Yeah.
Right. So then that happens, our fire department and our police department do an assessment of like, if right now that we just had actually a big wildfire in the river. If right now there were 2 big fires, what
Bane
happened?
fire and
The
Verona
Bane
fire?
fire.
Yeah.
Well, if we had the Bane fire and the Canyon Crest fire, God
Okay.
willing, doesn't ever happen. But if we had those 2 fires, what is the possibility that we'd be able to take care of it? And this assessment said straight out, we just to meet that need, not for future needs, not anything. We need 84 firefighters and 4 new fire stations to meet that. So we've been fortunate not to have 2 major fires in the city of Riverside, but we all see the trends, right? We all see that you have Palisades and at the same time Altadena, like, and I mean, we could talk about that as like a water agency, how we all watched like the water having to be turned off and people being blamed for something that really wasn't their fault.
Yeah, it was a big debacle.
Exactly. But really, so in Ward 2, this is what I know, insurance are going up. We have a huge target on our back because Ward 2 is at the highest risk of fire.
Of course.
And our firefighters are literally saying, if there's a fire there, we don't have the resources to combat it. And, to be fair, there's a lot of mutual aid, a lot of fire departments, right, will step in and help. The county will step in and help. But these are just issues that our residents are really focused on.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to like, hey, it's a general fund, that doesn't seem transparent. That's a very valid concern.
Yeah.
Coming from a water district where I was like scrutinizing every line, but that's where leadership and experience comes, right? I trust me, and I say this, me and Measure Z are going to be or not be elected at the same time. Okay, we don't know how it's going to go in the next 4 days, but if it passes, right? It is upon my leadership and experience to ensure the money goes where it's supposed to go.
Yes.
I can't, I can't be like, oh my God, this is so untransparent, because if like nobody knows, that's my job.
To tell
And
people,
that is what I'm going to commit to, that I make sure the money goes where my firefighters are telling me where that money goes. My residents are getting charged crazy numbers for their fire insurance. I'm going to be like, hey, wait a minute. No, it can't go to this thing because this is what we told residents. And two, my firefighters and my residents are telling me this, right? That's exactly why leadership or actually experience matters in these races, because we can promise all these things, like the high school, ASB president race, right? Like, we're all gonna get pizza on Thursdays, and the promise is like, hey, I'm gonna make sure everybody knows where your budget going. Yeah. But if it passes, that's my job. My job is to make sure that that money goes where where we have been told that it's gonna go. If it doesn't pass, it is my job to make sure that we find the money because where our firefighters are telling us and where our residents are telling us, right? So I can't, again, I don't know, I don't know necessarily why it was chosen to be a special tax versus a general tax. What I do know is that I trust in my commitment to, and I have done it for the last 8 years, to stand with residents to make sure that the money that they're giving every single day is being used in the right way.
Yeah. That's good. I could get behind that. Especially like, it's not necessarily, I know it may seem like, oh, the government's not telling us how they're spending our money, right? But like, it is kind of on us to ask those questions, like, and we live in a community, we live in a world where I think we're like, all of a sudden, oh my God, politics are really important. And it's like, they've been important, They were important in 2018. They were important in 2008, and now they're going to be important in 2028 too. So, but so let's talk a little bit about affordability. That seems like something you're big on. And personally, that's something that's important to me. I know it's important to a lot of people throughout the country, but to the people of Ward 2 and Riverside in general, what can you do? What do you hope to do to make housing more affordable? I mean, I really appreciate you sharing that story of yourself buying a home. I mean, I currently live with my parents. I don't know if I'll ever be able to buy a home, but I at least shooting for getting my own apartment, right?
In Rancho, girl.
In Rancho, I know. I'm going to have to move to Hesperia.
I would say come out to Riverside, but we're facing the same difficulty. So affordability is top of mind for everyone. For me, one of the reasons I jumped in so early into this race is every penny that I have goes to 3 babies. I understand affordability like intimately, and we used to talk about representation mattering, right? I don't have $29,000-$30,000 to throw into my campaign. I don't. I'm not Tom Steyer.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have all this money to throw in a campaign. I had to raise money. I was really lucky that people are trusted in my leadership from Western, that saw my vision as a council member, that said, hey, this girl might win. Maybe we should invest, right? I was very lucky that I've been able to raise that money. Right. But one of the reasons is because I'm living this affordability crisis alongside a lot of Ward 2 residents. Right. My fire insurance has gone up. There's going to be at least it's on legislature where I think it passed. People are going to have to create buffer zones around their homes.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Do you know how much that's going to cost someone
like individuals, like
it gives
elderly people
it
are not gonna,
what?
yeah,
And never
that's
mind, like in Riverside, we got some beautiful lawns. Like some people are like, hey, we've invested so much of our lives. These older folks are gonna be like, we invested so much to make this yard look beautiful.
yeah,
And now you're telling me I'm gonna have to cut it out and it's not gonna be cheap. So there's
no,
all these things coming down the pipe, right?
yeah,
HR1 is going to create all these cuts. I'm a SEIU 721 member. What we're seeing every day is like, hey, you know those COLAs you fought for 8 years to get, they
mm-hmm.
might not come back. And that, like, I have like again, I have 3 kids that I am very responsible for, and one of them in college. My son is, about to graduate high school. Well, he's got 2 years, but it
Yeah,
feels like tomorrow. I mean, it feels like it's going to be tomorrow. So I'm living this alongside. So when I talk about number one is jobs.
yeah,
When one of the things that actually I'm most proud of at Western is we created a consortium of water districts that were recruiting, training, and recruiting, training, and certifying people from our communities from the Inland Empire that have never historically heard of a water job.
yeah,
Actually, water career. People stay in water more than any other sector. But
interesting.
no one heard that. Like from everything from being a secretary to an operator to an engineer, there is so many opportunities. And what we found was that about 52 or 53% of the people employed at local water districts are coming from outside of the Inland Empire. Not because we don't like people from the Inland
Yeah,
Empire, but because we didn't have the opportunities to recruit from them. We helped create the bachelor's degree at San Bruno Valley College so that people could get a water resource bachelor's degree for free,
at a
right?
junior college, which is
At a
awesome.
junior
Yeah,
college. And so we're recruiting, we're training them, and we're placing them here so that we're creating these jobs here. And we've been able to place over 100, I think 120 now, people at a water district locally.
wow, that's
That's
great.
small scale. So,
But
and
that's
like I said
100
before,
jobs,
that's 100 jobs
Yeah,
locally. You're not from LA, not someone from LA who's jumped from water sector job or public sector job to public sector job
mm-hmm.
from our communities. And they're good paying job, great paying jobs. So again, like I said before, I just want to expand on those types of things. At the city, at the county, if you want an entry level job, you need a bachelor's degree.
Yeah,
That's crazy
yeah,
work,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
You just said you just
I
graduated,
just
right?
graduated from Cal State San Bernardino. I
With a
did use
master's?
with a bachelor's, yeah.
Oh,
I
with a
did
bachelor.
used to work for the county of San Bernardino, and it was entry level jobs, but they were like minimum wage, and I'm like, okay, at least I have benefits, I guess. But it's like, man, I'm seeing, I'm going to McDonald's and I'm seeing that they're hiring, managers for $20 an hour, and I'm here working for the county making $17, $18 an hour. I'm like, oof. But again,
And at the same time, racking up the debt to get that degree in order to
exactly.
get a
I don't even
job,
want to
right?
think about my financial aid loans that I have to start paying back.
Same. I'm exact. Well, imagine I have all this student loan debt. I'm finishing my doctorate degree.
That's
And
crazy.
so I
That's
have all this
awesome.
student loan debt, and then I have a kid about to start college. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. When I'm living it with people. So one, create more jobs in the
Yeah.
Inland Empire. Lower the experience or requirements in order to
Mm-hmm.
get an entry-level job in government. We all know those are good careers. They come with benefits, they come with union representation. If you want an entry-level job, you don't need a bachelor's degree. You don't need 6 years
No.
of experience.
No.
Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
So right then and there, you are opening tons of opportunities here locally. I want to create the same type of workforce development pipeline where, again, we recruit, train, certify wherever we need. Here in the city of Riverside, one of the big needs is in electrification, right?
Mm-hmm.
The city is moving very quickly towards electrification, and the Inland Empire is a kind of experienced desert. We don't
Yeah.
have people who are trained in those jobs. And so let's train them. Let's find them. Let's go into our neighborhoods, into Casablanca, East Side, and say, hey, who wants a job in electrification? We're going to train you. And not only that, we're going to pay to train you
That's
so
awesome.
that you can get a job here at the city and hopefully grow at the city level. Create more cross-training jobs. And that's just at the city. I want
Yeah.
to partner with small businesses. If you're a small business here in the city of Riverside, which is one of the critiques we get, they feel like this is not a small business friendly city anymore,
Interesting.
right?
Okay.
And so they have like permitting requirements and like code enforcement is like finding them, and they're really feeling a lot of pressures. So one, I want to incentivize more small businesses to come here. But if you're a small business that's hiring locally, let's reward you for that.
Yeah.
You have some longevity here. You know, you're not hiring from LA, you're not hiring from different. Let's reward you for hiring locally, whatever that needs to be, right? And so creating more jobs, I think, is going to help with not just getting to a place of affordability, but
Yeah.
also getting you off of this traffic, right? We're a
Yeah.
commuter city. We're a commuter city. So the 91, you know this, right? You're by the
I
15.
know. I hate driving. I mean,
You're
I love
you're
cars.
by
I
the
hate driving. I
15.
hate commuting, but
Yeah,
it's just the state
so
of life here.
and so that's the second part of it, right? If I'm driving to LA every single day, Orange County every single day to work, I don't want to think of what I'm paying for gas. I joke all the time. The county has me like they're gonna keep me forever because I drive 7 minutes.
Oh,
Like
yeah, you got the best commute.
exactly. You'll never find me applying for a job outside of the city because I'm like, I can't, like, I couldn't afford to drive that far, never mind the time.
Yeah.
So let's get you off of these roads paying these crazy gas prices. I can't do anything about gas prices, but I can at least get you off the roads,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, basic city services, right? We talked about, I mentioned if I'm fixing my tire because that pothole wasn't fixed,
Mm-hmm.
you just made me pay twice, right?
Yeah.
If I'm fixing my window because this tree fell over it, you just made me pay twice. And so going back to the basics, getting basic city service, getting the city back to basics, right? Have you paved every road? No, then I don't want to hear you talk about any other crazy program that you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you, is every tree trimmed? Is street sweeping on schedule? Which, fun fact, street sweeping is actually a water quality measure. So
Oh, wow.
again,
I mean, I guess it
it
makes sense. Yeah.
nobody sat and thought like, hey, we really want these streets to be pretty. No, what happened is they said that the state mandated said, hey, there shouldn't be sediment in our water system. And like, you need to fix this. And they're like, what's the cheapest way to fix this? Let's street sweep. So anyways, so are those things taken care of? Because ultimately those day-to-day things that impact us that aren't taken care of with the city is is creating extra pressures,
Yeah.
right? I mentioned the fire issue. I have experience in removing removing parcels from flood maps, right? Which was also an insurance issue. So if you owned a home and it was in a flood map, you were paying higher insurance. Naturally, well, not naturally,
But yeah,
like
that's just
logically.
how insurance works.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I've for the last 5 years have experience in modeling in um, infrastructure repairs, whatever needed, so that we could start removing parcels and homes out of these maps. The process is essentially the same for fire. And so that's going to be one of my top issues when if elected, to focus on. We need to get Ward 2 out of these fire maps. People can't afford their insurance.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, I have voted against rate increases. I've seen how the city, and I have the commitment to continue to stringently look at these budgets so that we get back to the basics. Again, if we have $100 million going to some offshoot program, but our roads aren't paved, let's take another look at this, please.
Yeah.
Right.
Prioritizing, right? Yeah. That makes
I
sense.
truly believe that. I truly believe that if we focus on the basics, we're alleviating a ton of pressure of regular day people. One example, one example that I have in my own family is my son when he's like, how old is he now? 15. So he was like 13. One of his first chores was to take out the trash,
Yeah.
roll it onto the sidewalk, right? And we had a huge trash issue. Like, our trash was supposed to be picked up Friday mornings, and then Friday came around, nobody picked it up. Saturday came around, nobody picked it up. Sunday came around,
No.
nobody picked it up. And finally my son got, like, he's smart, so he got to the point where he was like, I don't know if it's going to be picked up, Mom. I'll take it out tomorrow, maybe, and
Yeah.
like, although it doesn't really talk about affordability, this is a pressure that I'm like, hey, I'm trying to teach this kid to be responsible. Never mind that my trash is piling up,
Yeah.
but and I'm paying for it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And like, what, so how do that was an extra pressure as a parent, as a resident, as a like home, or had a head of households. And the city said, you know what, without raising your rates, we're going to use the money we have. I guess they were having like issues with like the trucks. And so they didn't have enough trucks. So they contracted it out, which should be coming back in soon. And they ended up, now it's picked up on schedule. So guess what, buddy? Tuesday nights, you better be out there, or else I'm gonna have a whole week of extra trash. And
Yeah.
this is really like, and I'm telling you, when I say I believe it, I believe it. When the city is not handling their business, it impacts me personally. And so let's just handle business.
Yeah.
And let's go back to the basics and handle that.
I can't imagine not having trash picked up for like more than a day. It's just
Right.
sitting on like, nah,
Right.
that's some like third world country kind of. Yeah, I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but no, it's like,
Well, when you say that, that's how, like, it's funny because my team gets so annoyed because I always bring everything back to water. I'm a water, like, that is my thing. In the state of California, fourth largest economy in the world, there is 1 million people without access to clean drinking water. A
wow.
million people without access so as somebody who I have an environmental science master's degree, and I remember thinking like, oh, I want to, I want to be this environmentalist. And then I started realizing like, well, some of these environmental regulations is the reason why 1 million people don't have. And so these are the experience, and why, like, I'll look at you and tell you like, hey, I can't solve everything, but I know locally, these are the things I can handle,
Yeah.
right? Because you start pitting sectors against each other, right? We
Yeah.
want to make sure that we take care of our planet, but wait a minute, there are 1 million people without access to clean drinking water.
Yeah.
And so we start fighting these infrastructure projects or these other things without really taking in the consequences of who's being impacted. My water turns on every single day.
Yeah.
Right. So I have the luxury to be like, do not cut down that tree. Right.
Yeah.
But there's people who are like, cut it down, please. I'm living off of Brita. And so
Gosh,
but
yeah.
so when you talk about these decisions being made on the dais, they are so much more complex than the headlines tell you, right? They voted
Yeah.
against this, or they voted to put Measure Z. Wait a minute, let's really talk about what's happening before we start maligning any decisions being made, and that was the uphill curve that I had to learn in governance, is that I have these really concrete beliefs, but my beliefs are outweighed by the reality that is faced in front of me when I'm making a decision.
Yeah, exactly. This is kind of a tangent, but
It
I was
was a
talking
tangent.
with one of my friends, and we were talking about the Amazon, right? And how the deforestation is happening there. And it's like
Right.
really easy for us as Americans to say, well, these people shouldn't be cutting down the Amazon forest because it's so important.
Beautiful. Right.
Well, but why are they cutting it down? Well, they need to do farming or agriculture, whatever they can to make money to survive,
Right.
because they're trying to get to the next day, right? Whereas we're, I'm going to be fine for the next month, like I'll be
Right.
good. I don't, if something happens to me, I at least have, tonight to sleep on it, worry about it later. Not a lot of
Right.
people do that, especially like people living on the streets.
Right.
But yeah, so I think that's really cool that you are a scientist who's familiar with like, water and stuff, because that's something I never even think about. I turn on the faucet and I'm like, it's tap water. Where's my Essentia? Where's my, my nice fancy bottled water,
No, your tap water is cleaner and better regulated than your. I was like,
Then
man.
Essentia, my Fiji, sorry, I love buying those bottled waters because this makes me feel a little bougie every now and then,
Right.
But yeah, it's like I never think about how important it is, so that's really great. I'm super impressed with you. Like, I wish you luck in your race. I don't want to take up any more of your time. I know we probably still have some time, but anything else you want to shout out or, bring to people's awareness? The mic is yours.
Thank you so much. When as the time to mail in your ballot has passed.
Yes.
So if you were planning on mailing it today, please do not do that. Just take a quick second to go to City Hall, the Main Street Library, or the Registrar of Voters to drop off your ballots. It stresses me out to think that people have gotten so much same information for the last 6 years, and then we change it.
Just forget.
But I just want to say, one, thank you for having me and letting me chat with you. One of the things that I am proud of is that I come from a family of public servants. My dad taught me to be a public servant. I'm choosing to serve in this capacity.
Yeah.
And I love it every single day. Through governance and through being an elected official, I've gotten to do things that I never thought I would be able to do. I've created a scholarship for kids who want to go into STEM. I get to partner with amazing nonprofits and provide turkeys and toys when the holidays are here. I've gotten to sit down with neighbors that have told me their really tough and vulnerable stories and find a way to solve their issues from everything from, I can't pay my bills. I have literally gone to their homes and been like, and with someone from on staff and saying, hey, what can we do so that we don't turn off their water? And I want to continue to do that at the city. I can't promise absolutely everything, but the things that I am promising to create jobs, to focus on infrastructure, and to get back to the basics, I'm going to deliver on. I'm very proud to be supported by the mayor and most of the city council, the business community, labor, and it has been one of my biggest supporter. I'm a union member, but they've been my biggest supporter. But I know that bringing together this coalition of support, we're going to get things done. And so I hope to earn your vote by June 2nd.
Nice. Thank you, Gracie Torres. That was great. I got to shout out my union, Teamsters 1932. I know they endorsed you. So
awesome.
I hang out with Kathleen a lot. I'm part of the LGBT.
That's my girl.
Yeah, I know. I did an interview with her offline, and I've been editing it, and I'm pretty sure she shouted you out in there. So be on the lookout for that.
Kathleen is a real one. And let me tell you something. If that's your union, in 1932 chooses winners. So when I got that endorsement, I was like, dang, okay, thank you.
I know. So I was really impressed with your amount of endorsements. So again, I wish you the best of luck, and we'll see. So all right, Gracie, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you. Good luck, and shout out to Gracie Torres. Thank you for being on.
You know what? Can I just say? I just want to say, we're 4 days out, so I just want to take a quick second to thank my team. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I work full time. I work 40 hours a week. I start at 5, end at 5 every day. And if it wasn't for them, holding it down on a day-to-day basis, we would not have the campaign that we have. So I just want to thank Juan, Kareem, Maha, Tarek, Tomas, Frank, Hazal, Tyler and Raymond. You guys have been a freaking godsend. Thank you. I want to thank my kids because they are so patient. And I promise, babies, I'm working really hard to come back to you June 3rd. Thank you.
Beautiful. All right. We got people in the chat saying best of luck, Gracie. Interview. All right. So we'll see you later. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope we can have you back on soon.
Of course. Bye.
Bye. All right, chat. That was a great interview. Absolutely great interview. Gracie Torres, what a nice woman. What a nice lady. I hope she seems like she has a lot of experience, a lot of good intentions, and definitely the will and definitely the way to get it done. So that's crazy. I almost wish I lived in Riverside. But yeah. All right, chat. Yeah. Oh, DVA. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for joining us. I think we're gonna end the stream here. This was kind of impromptu, but I'll be back next week. So yeah, we'll check in after the election or after the primary. I gotta go fill out my ballot too. Yeah, sorry, Bishon in a box. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining me. Peace out. Have a good one. Shout out again to Gracie Torres for being on the stream. Yeah. All right, everyone. Have a good one. Enjoy your Friday. No outro music today. No outro music. Okay. Peace out, everyone.